to another edition of the Big Knick Energy Podcast, episode 22 after an 11-day hiatus. Check out our sponsor, Empire Original Designs at jointheempire.com. The East Coast's #1 challenge coin manufacturer, the home of challenge coins, lapels, pins, patches, keychains, bottle openers, and more. Mention our podcast, Big Knick Energy, via email 5% off purchases. Once again, that's at jointheempire.com. I'm your host, Joe Yoke, the bald kid wonder in a brand new apartment with a nice little office. That's my co-host, the New York Postman, a.k.a. Trey Deuce, a.k.a. delivers every day and twice on Sunday, except during his 5-day vacay. Coach Man, how you doing? And we got a very special guest today, Levante Bell, a.k.a. Trippy OG, the great Knick and 30 podcast host. Also find his main Instagram page, TrippyOG_TS. Trippy, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thank y'all for having me on board.
Welcome.
And we're going to have a crazy season. Oh, my God.
Well, oh, yeah.
29 days and counting until next preseason starts.
Can't wait.
15 days after that until they start against Boston and we get to call Jason Tatum a little bitch. I'm super excited, honestly. Who wants to draw 50 points in a playoff game and then lose 4-1? Jason Tatum does. That's who.
Yo, the way I look at this, the new season, it's funny. It's like every year it's like dating somebody new. You know, like that's how I like go into a season. You have like these crazy high expectations. You're just so giddy about it.
Well, this is the first time we have high expectations.
Well, just hear me out. Like usually it's just like it always ends up being a failed relationship, right? Like as the season goes on, you just get more depressed and you're just always it's like you're arguing with the season and you're making all these things are happening. But like I kind of feel like we might start to have like a solid relationship with this girl this season, you know? It's very exciting.
That is a fact. That is
right?
a fact. That is a fact. But besides that, it's just the overall excitement of the season. We got two new assets with Kemba and Evan. The floor spacing is going to be good. We expect RJ to go crazy. Like it's just too much positive factors that we haven't had in a while as a Knick fan. So it's going to be lovely. It's going to be lovely.
Trippy, just so the fans can figure out a little bit about your past and history. How long you been a Knick fan for? How long you been watching this team?
Honestly, I've been a Knick fan my whole life. My first ever game I seen was the Bulls against the Knicks. Now, at that age, you know, I didn't really know like too much. So I just know that my dad.
What year are we talking? Like mid to late 90s with MJ and stuff?
Going into about like 99.
Okay.
I want to say 99.
Right after, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm watching the game with my dad, and he's just like, oh, Bulls this, Bulls that. So I was like, all right, I'm picking this team. And then I just stuck with them ever since. I was like, I hate the Bulls. They keep beating us, and I just stuck with them ever since. So I got to see the whole ups and downs. I got to see the ending of Ewing and all that. I got to see the Carmelo stunt. I got to see the whole tragic, how we almost had the last seed in the playoffs when Jamal Crawford was there when we was 4 games out. And now we see the beautiful Knicks today on 4 of them.
I know.
Like Frank was saying before, I'm super excited for this season. And Frank, the pain you talk about, it's not as a Knick fan. That was as a Met fan. You were talking about the Mets.
I mean, I'm just a glutton for punishment. I just want to be as depressed as humanly possible with all my sports teams like every season. I just don't know what it's like to win. So when I finally have some excitement, it's like, oh yeah, you know.
And Trippy, you mentioned RJ before real quick. I want to ask you because we've seen a lot of pictures in the past 2 to 3 months of four guys on our team that have been on our team for a little while in particular. Not a little while, but a little bit. IQ, RJ, Randle, and Mitch. And all 4 of them look like they're in by far the best shape of their life. Like one of Randle's trainers this past weekend. Randle literally looks like he weighs like 235 pounds of like not a single ounce of fat on his body.
Just straight muscle, like he's like this, looking like he just came out of boot camp.
He literally looks exactly. He looks like he went to boot camp for like 6 years. He became the sergeant. Like crazy shit happening. Which one of those 4 are you most excited to see take another step forward this year? Mitch, IQ, Randle, Barrett.
Truthfully speaking, my biggest take, of course, is RJ, but that's everybody's biggest take. But my surprise, because I'm gonna just go with the surprise. The biggest person to take the leap, I feel, is going to be Mitch. He's 275 now.
I hope so.
Obviously, if he was working out with the trainers and he's showing off the shooting form, now I'm assuming that his free throw shooting got better. Not the fact that he's about to shoot a ton of threes or, you know what I'm saying, pull it out that far, but it's looking like he's getting the free throw game. And as we all know, if he could get that free throw going, that'll pull out that 10-15 jumper that we need. Yeah. So it's looking good. It's definitely exciting for him just for the fact of we didn't extend him just yet. So it's like it's a real battle for him. We don't know if he's going to stay, he's going to go.
Real make or break year.
Mm-hmm.
Frank, I know one thing you were big on in the past, obviously, always being a big man, not liking the three-pointer, but liking like the mid to long range Jay. I think if there was anyone I would ever want to see actually like not go out to the 3-point line, but like go out to like the mid to late 2-point line after the 3-point line, it would be Mitch, like that Jermaine O'Neal, Kevin Garnett range.
Yeah.
Like if you could just take it out to there, I don't need you to hit a three, maybe a corner three once in a while, but I don't need you to go to the top of the key. But like I think that would take the game to the next level. Honestly, offensively.
The way I always knew that Mitch could shoot. He always was like slightly compared to Anthony Davis. He always played and like practiced with Anthony Davis. So I always
career.
I always knew that this guy Mitch had a baby mid-range game. They just kind of haven't opened the playbook. I look at Mitch when you do something extremely well, like be an elite shot blocker with the amount of minutes that he played. I think we said in another pod, it was like he was like top 3. And he was playing 18 minutes a game or something like that. And he was just
rookie year, he was averaging like he would have gotten 9 fouls per 36, but also like 7 blocks.
Right. Yeah. For one, I just wanted to say all these Knicks look like they were in like the hyperbolic time chamber in Dragon Ball Z. Like these dudes are training with like weighted suits on, and they are looking crazy jacked. Whoever their trainers are, God bless you. Just make sure that these guys' lower bodies in their core are as strong as humanly possible, which I'm sure they're working on, especially with these bigger guys. That I think that goes without saying.
Before we get actually too far off on that point, the one thing with Mitch gaining weight, though, is like he's had foot problems. And the thing about the top of your body being stronger and heavier, your feet problems don't necessarily go away. So I'm a little scared about that.
So I'm extremely worried about any kind of foot issues with a 7-footer, especially a 7-footer who has to move very quickly laterally, and one that's also sacrificing his body at the net as much as like Noel did this past season in replacement of Mitch. That's my biggest worry. But I think the biggest jump for me is going to be Mitchell Robinson, because once you start to listen on the pick and roll to the net, his game is elite on the lob. It's like Clint Capella. It's like DeAndre Jordan. Like he has that cloth within him. Yep. But I think once you start to be able to pick and pop and start to get like a Miles, because then like Miles Turner rumors go away, right?
Definitely.
So I think that because I think he's capable of it too. The only problem is that our offense is so surrounded with Julius Randle and RJ Barrett, and now you're going to have Evan Fournier. Now you're going to have Kevin Walker. I just worry that having all these pieces.
I like how you said Kevin though.
No, I said Kemba.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think that it's going to make Mitch's game. He's still going to just be so defensively based, because they're not going to need him to score on pick and pops or any of that. Just defend the rim, just crash the rim, get some offensive rebounds, go straight back up. But I think Mitch, without a doubt, is the guy to watch for sure.
Such a good rim runner. It's like almost hard to tell him to go pick and pop as opposed to just dashing.
Right. You feel like you're sliding
wingspan. Him. Yeah.
And then on top of that, he's just going to benefit a lot because he doesn't have to worry about a stagnant PG this time. He has Kemba and D Rose that as soon as they see him, they letting it go. Right. So it's no reason for him not to take that next lead. The only thing he has to do is just stay healthy.
Yes. Yep. I want to see him play 80 games. Not even 80. I want to see him play 75. You can take 7 days off. Trippy, on the note that you just said, having a stagnant PG, did you see the Elfrid Payton highlights over the weekend that he had like doing the same thing in a gym against a bunch of nobodies? And all of his highlights were like the most ugly floaters that he tried in the game, the ones that get blocked by dudes a foot taller than him. It turns out they work against dudes that are shorter than you and not in the NBA. Who would have known?
Honestly speaking, when I seen the footage, because it was crazy. When I came across the footage, I had just went to over to Mitchell Robinson's story, and he had reposted it. So I clicked it. I'm looking at it, and I'm like, EP, just EP. You still look like the same player. I see why you the third string point guard on Suns. Like, that's no disrespect to you. Like I said, I commend you. I commend that man. He did help us. No matter how we look at it, he helped us get to the playoffs. But come on now, bro. Like, come on. You got to do better than that. Like, forget the floater, forget all that. Work on that shot. You can't shoot worth a lick. You should have been pulling short range jumpers. You know what I'm saying? But hey,
dude, talk about someone that should work on the corner three. That's all you fucking need to add. Actually be able to hit the corner three to 40% clip, EP. Nothing else. No, not even another 3-pointer, just the fucking one.
That and his free throw shooting, because his free throw shooting was terrible.
Oh, that's horrendous.
It was horrendous.
It honestly, Elfrid Payton and Ben Simmons should have a shoot off. I wonder if it's like instead of playing horse, they'd have to spell the whole alphabet before one of them.
This place has become the Elfrid Payton He-Man haters club. It's just like every podcast. It's just
pain in my soul, man.
The shade that's thrown at this man, this NBA player that like spent his entire life like trying to just be the best, and he makes it to the league. This dude gets drafted. He's always being re-signed, and all we can say is that this guy is just a bum. And
it's not that. It's just the fact like it's the fact that he trolled. Like, how you troll your own team?
And his mom did.
Yeah, like, and then that was the icing on the cake. I feel like if his mom didn't make the remarks she made, he probably would have been back on this team.
Yeah,
he probably would have even got some more burn in the playoffs.
I like Elfrid Payton. I've always liked Elfrid Payton. I mean, one bad season to me is not, I think the dude I always thought he was a low end triple double guy, like always 7 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. I feel like and a steal.
See, I mean, I could agree with that, but then it's like I'm kind of like at a toss up because this season overall, yes, it was bad for him. But let's go back into the first season we had him. We still got the same type of production. He didn't get better. He didn't produce any better. He didn't make his teammates better.
Right.
So it was like, for all that, yeah, we had to.
It was the Elfrid and Julius show. He wouldn't even pass the ball at anyone else.
RJ
Barrett literally could have just been holding up a giant sign.
Yeah, it's very true.
Never would have got the ball. How many times have we watched Mitch dive down the lane and Elfrid just does not?
Yeah, he just looks him off. Yeah, no, I agree. Maybe his IQ is not as good. I mean, in Orlando, he was pretty damn good, but they didn't really have that big of nice of a team around him. So I think maybe he was able to eat up a lot more looks, a lot more minutes, which kind of like inflated, his statistics or whatever. But on a team where you actually have shooters and you have guys that you're trying to develop, the last thing you want to do is have a point guard that just wants to dive the rim and not really like look to dish out. He can't really shoot the 3 ball. He just wasn't a fit. I think for a younger team, I mean, if I were him, I would just go to a team that's just not good.
He's on the Suns. He's just gonna be third string now. He just gets to chill.
Yeah, honestly, I think he picked the right team by going back to the Suns. He's going back to a comfortable setting that he's used to. It's like hometown to him. He being at the fact that he had this crazy run at the end, he went through a lot of animosity going out to end the season.
Yeah,
I feel like this is a good welcome home for him. And then on top of that, he doesn't have to worry about doing the most now because he's the third string point guard. Right. So honestly, if Chris Paul or Cameron Payne is not hurt, I don't even think we should be seeing him getting any kind of minutes.
Garbage time minutes only.
That's more enough time for him to keep developing his game to make sure he's polished enough for when he has to walk in. So I feel like even though, we bashing him, he's in a good situation. So I give him credit for that. He picked the right team to go to
get off of the Elfrid Payton train that I always, for some reason.
I like the positivity, by the way. Yeah. Finally, some positivity for this
Trippy,
guy.
you've actually probably saved this podcast from the 3 hours combined worth I've chat on EP.
And the four Elfrid Payton fans that are gonna be poo-pooing us. So thanks for that.
I hope his mom listens to this.
Nah, that's just me, man. I get it. Us Knick fans, we hard on our players, but we gotta be realistic nowadays. Like, it's Agreed. 2021. Absolutely. We can't have the same views. It's like it's either basketball or you just like this team. Like you gotta have both. You know what I'm saying? You gotta like Agreed. The team, but you still gotta know basketball.
You gotta know basketball.
Especially to be on Knick's social media between Twitter and Instagram. If you say the wrong thing, like you will get roasted on it.
What roasted? They'll report your page, take you down, get them out of here.
Yeah, get canceled.
Yeah. As someone that likes trolling and arguing with people, I do ride a thin line every time. On a brighter note, though, I did want to talk about because I want to talk about the other 3 dudes that we mentioned. Obviously, IQ, Randle, and Barrett. First with IQ though, watching him and McBride in the summer league, I know what stinks is that we're not going to see the two of them share the court too much during the regular season. I mean, Rose, Kemba, Fournier, Barrett or Fournier play the 2-3, depending on how you want to look at it. So, for both of them to get guard minutes together, Burks, who doesn't even get mentioned enough, even though he played 26 minutes a game for us, they're never going to see the floor together. But we're in a time machine. 2 years down the road, we probably don't have a lot of these players. I'm assuming we still have Quickly near the end of his rookie contract and McBride in the middle. What do you guys see from a Quickly and McBride contract or backcourt in the future for this team, starting with Trippy?
I'm gonna give you the hottest take I can when it comes to that. Imagine your backcourt with Kyle Lowry, Mike Conley prototype, and a Lou Williams prototype together. That's exactly what you'll be getting. And
that is really high.
If I'm looking at it right, that is amazing, because not only not even that. Let's rephrase it like this. The fact that they would pair together, if you watch Summer League, every time Deuce started anteing up his game, it pushed IQ to ante up his. And they just kept going back and forth. It was no more we even in competition with the team. We in competition with each other. So just the fact that they feed off that energy, it's going to be a crazy setup. And especially 2 years down the line, that's more development. That's more time for McBride to sit there and learn from Rose and Kemba. That's still more time for IQ to learn from them guys as well. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be a scary hour.
It is the real version of iron sharpens iron.
Could be the second coming of Earl the Pearl and Walt Clyde Frazier.
Yeah. Frank, how excited are you that McBride, knowing how much of a defensive hound dog he is going to be able to be coached by Thibodeau for the next 4 years?
I love that they are drafting guys that are cut from the cloth of what Thibodeau is. I think it's just only going to, he's only going to accentuate all of his abilities. I wanted to say, I just had a thought in my mind real quick. I was just thinking to myself, since we were so cluttered with point guards right now, and we do have these young bulls that are just waiting in the wing just to step up. Can you possibly see, and this is just very speculative. Could you see Kemba being very, very good and very healthy, and the Knicks using his extremely tradable contract to obtain more assets for the future? Because, we have guards in the wing, right? So, if you get this guy,
have way more guards than bigs.
Right. So if you get this guy on a really hot streak and it's looking like he's healthy, do you kind of sell extremely high in hopes that you can get a big return back for Kemba? And, because his health, his knee issue, it could be something that lingers. So if you can sell high, why wouldn't you do that?
Your GM hat always, sometimes it's where are you coming from in outer space? And other times it makes so much logical sense, and it's just not what I want to hear. It hits me in the feels. I'm excited for Bronx native born Kemba Walker, went to UConn. I live in Connecticut now, won the national title for UConn. The two states I've lived in my whole life. It's just he embodies that. And just to know that his contract is super fucking tradable. And
listen,
what you're saying makes perfect sense.
It's brilliant, right?
It hurts how much.
I know. My good friend Terrence always.
I think they're running the team as is this year. I don't think they're doing that.
Don't ever be bigger than the logo that's on you. These players. I'm a Knicks fan, right? I'm not a LeBron James fan. I'm not a RJ Barrett fan. Don't get me wrong. I love my team and the players who are on my team, and I'm gonna look at all their abilities and what they bring to the table and how they can mesh and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, I'm a Knicks fan.
Yeah.
I love my Knicks. So when I see opportunities like a Kemba Walker being signed for 2 years, what was it, $18 million? If he's gonna be healthy and other teams are looking damn, that's a good ass contract. We need that point guard to put us to the next level, because like we said, the Knicks are a second round playoff team at this point, currently instituted, just based off of paper and what we've seen last year, and also warranted that Julius Randle's play continues and RJ Barrett gets better and so on and so forth. So when I see that we're only a second seed and we're not quite there yet, and we obtain somebody like Kemba Walker, who could probably be a top 15 point guard if he's healthy, maybe even better than that, I mean, listen, if you're going to give me future picks that are like actually worth something unprotected, or you're going to give us another piece that can push us forward to just, keep, because you got to think like the Nets, the Lakers, the window it's not there yet. It's just starting to creak open, our window. Like finally our window is like unlocked and starting to creak open.
I think the timing for our team and the timing for the Hawks, I think specifically, and the Celtics I would have said prior to this year, like the Hawks and Knicks are trying to time it as LeBron and KD come down and try to go up.
Right. So the goal of a franchise in this specific like landscape is to elongate how long our window can be opening for.
Yeah.
Right. So if you have a guy like Kemba who's a little bit older, how old is Kemba at this point?
31.
Right. So you have to figure he's going to be on the backswing of his career within what, 3 to 4 years?
He already has like, what is it? Like deteriorating knees.
I'm excited to see Kemba come back to New York. I think Kemba will play extremely, extremely hard for the Knicks. I think I said in the last pod, him meeting with Derrick Rose, understanding that this guy went through the same kind of injury and he had the same kind of journey is really important for him as a person and as a player. And I'm all for that. But listen, if you're playing good and we can get some assets back, you got to go. Like
I can respect that, but then you got to look at it like this. You want Dame, right? Like let's put it all.
I don't.
No, not you. I'm just saying
just like the bigger picture, right?
Yeah,
right.
The larger casual Knicks fans want Dame,
right?
Yeah, they want Dame, right?
Right.
But he's the same age as Kemba.
Right.
Kemba can sit there if he's healthy. He can produce the same way. We've watched it time and time again.
Agreed.
So that shuts out that door, right?
Right.
Now, here's the toss-up. A lot of people think that Kemba might be the one traded, right? This is where I feel like things get a little different. I feel like they're going to try to keep Kemba and Rose for at least another year or two so they can get IQ and McBride
to where they want him to
fundamentally sound, right?
Yeah.
The one person I feel like that's going to end up being the person that gets traded this season is the person that you stated, Joe, that doesn't get talked about a lot. And that's Alex Burks. I feel like he's going to be the odd man out because for some reason it's telling me that Tom is going to be like, you know what? I need to get Quentin Grimes in this rotation. And the fact he's younger, they play the same butts. Quentin Grimes gives you that Reggie Bullock effect that we lost. He can play D better than him, but they both can play the same game.
Burks is a little more reckless. He kind of gets lost sometimes.
Definitely. He's going to definitely get that control. But I feel like Alex Burks could be a person that's gone besides Kemba. Kemba, I don't feel like he's going to – I feel like it depends on how his health is. He's another Mitch person. Like, if he could stay healthy – why not keep him? You have a four-time All-Star as your point guard with the former MVP backing him up. That right there is still mind-blowing to me. I still can't get over that.
Yeah.
But just the fact of, it's just too many variables on how he can be good. And even when we seen him not fully 100% healthy, even if he was 60, 75, he's still giving you 19.5 points a game. That's still an extra 20 points on the board for us that we need. Or if not, let's just say he goes ahead and say, you know what? I know my knees is bad. Let me take a step back, which I feel like he should be doing. He doesn't need to be the man over here. That's the whole reason why we gave the extension to Randle. Let him be the man. You float back, get those assist numbers up, and you just need to be a knockdown shooter.
Right, a spot-up shooter.
Also, he's not known for defense anyway, so try to take that back a little bit regardless. Don't overwork yourself. You don't have to.
Definitely. And then on top of that, with the fact that Rose doesn't care to come off the bench, they both don't need to play a crazy amount of minutes. Right. I'm even on the whole thing of, Tom, you need to run a 12-man rotation so that way McBride and Grimes can still play. And all you got to do is just split it if you got Grimes in the SG or small forward position, or between all three of those strings, it would be 20-28. And the same thing with the PGs, 20-28. Like, just give them boys 8 minutes for now, bring them in. And then from there, as the season progresses, you give them more minutes. You figure out who's not really putting in that work. And then you send them off to the side. Because if y'all noticed last year, he did the same thing. He started with like 13 people. Yep. Then he started dwindling them down as the season progressed.
Yep.
That's how you got to do for such a long season anyway. 82 games, like back-to-backs occasionally. Last season was even more compressed. But yeah, it's like the idea is you want to start with a 12 or 13-man rotation, and by the time you get to the playoffs, you got it down to 8 or 9. So between 3 players, there's 246 games combined for the season, right? Because they each play 82 as a max.
Mhm.
Between Rose, Mitch, and Kemba, how many games do you think we get out of all 3 of them?
I don't even want to talk on that. I'm such a superstitious guy in my
I'm
bones.
hoping so. If the 3 of them played a combined 200 minutes, it's about 70% of the year. I would take that right now, honestly, as long as, especially if it includes the end of the year.
I want them playing 3/4 of the season. I'll just say that. I don't want to give a certain amount of games because words cast spells, and I am not trying.
I'm knocking on wood, man. I'm on a wood table.
Yo, I hate it.
I
I hate to
don't know.
interject, but so like what you guys were talking about, Derrick Rose and Kemba Walker both likely to have games off for injury, right? And I think what Levante was saying, if you give these kids if you go 2028, it gets these kids ready for one of these injuries to happen. It's not like, okay, someone's injured, we're throwing you in. Play some professional NBA ball.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
I guarantee you McBride is going to be in Tibbs' rotation. Grimes might have to take a little bit longer to get there because he's behind Fournier. He's behind Barrett. Those dudes are younger and can play more. I guarantee you, based on Rose and Kemba, McBride is going to be in the rotation.
I agree. And I think Deuce is like, that kid can play. Yeah.
He got it. But it's crazy that you say that, but I don't even feel like it's Grimes. Grimes is gonna have to take a back seat to Evan or RJ. It's really gonna be based on, like I said before, I feel like he's gonna end up outworking Alex Burks in practice, and he's gonna take his spot because you got to think about it. We gave all our guys that came back these type of contracts with the team options on them for a reason. There's reasons behind this, and out of everybody, if you get Alex Burks off the team first, that's a journeyman that every team wants. Right. No matter what, that's a guarantee. You're going to be able to package him off. So it's like, okay, the only thing you could do now is try to make sure, just like Vincent said, you got to let these kids develop from early in the stage of the season. Like, you can't wait till later on. You can't wait till an injury. You got to get them in that rotation now. Because if not, you won't fully see that production. And then if you trade somebody off and then now they're not producing, we just went a step back.
I think the other person that's going to end up being super duper tradable too is going to be Noel. Like, if they're going to try to keep Mitch and extend Mitch, like they're already talking about it. Obviously, they want to see him be healthier, but they already have Gibson. They still have Gibson as like a player coach at this point.
I don't know if you guys saw, but Julius Randle has been working out with Miles Turner all summer.
Yeah.
I don't know what that says.
They're from Dallas.
So they might be building a little relationship. I really have always liked Miles Turner personally. I think he would be an upgrade. It's going to be a rough take, but I think that's an absolute upgrade for Mitchell Robinson.
I know, I agree.
So I think it's an upgrade from a health availability standpoint more than anything. I honestly like Mitch's.
Well, what do you say about health and availability, Joe?
The most important part of ability is availability.
That's right.
That is
I hate how we just see, this is a New York thing, man. No one even just talks about Kevin Knox. He's such an afterthought, and the dude's only 22 years old, man. And my love for Frank Ntilikina was like always there.
The second most important part of ability is fucking ability, and he doesn't have ability on the team.
I'm not done with him yet. I don't give up on 6'7", 22-year-olds with a 6'11" wingspan.
Says the Obi hater.
Nah.
Dude, I'm not an Obi. Dude, I'm not nearly as much an Obi hater anymore. The amount that Obi improved, which I am actually amazed on based on his age. I went through how long it took for him to get from high school to the college, to the pros, blah, blah. I started at 23. Like, Obi from 23 to 24 in his one rookie year showed improvement throughout the year for a team that became a playoff team. Kevin Knox started really good on a team that went like 19-60 or wherever the heck the math was.
Yeah.
And then just never flatlined and didn't get better.
Don't sleep on Kevin Knox, man.
I'm sleeping on Durag Knox, man. I'm sorry.
I have to. We all have to. That's because
sleep.
He came into the league already. The fact that he came from Kentucky, the fact that his own coach stated that you have to push him, that was already a red flag right there on why we even drafted him. Why do I have to push you, bro? You know,
Calipari is one of the most honest people about his players.
That's the thing really that's crazy.
Point.
So it's like,
it's a really good
hear
point.
That, it's like, why do we draft him? Like, yes, I get it. I get the size, I get the shooting ability, but the way I feel when it comes to Kevin Knox, the fact that he already got a 1 down on him. He couldn't play in Summer League to really show that he belongs here. But the fact that he got the do-rag on, the nice silky, you feel me? He's sitting there and he's doing what he got to do. And he's really
once you see
showing
the
that
do-rag comes out, it's it's different.
But this is the thing, though. I feel like Knox got his wake-up call when Theo Piston took him and Emmanuel quickly to that finals game. That's when it opened up like, bro, this could be y'all. This could be you. You could be a part of this. You're supposed to be a part of all of this, but you're not putting in that work. So now, going on my guy Steelers for sevens, you know what I'm saying, talking to him, that's my guy. He got a hot take. He's over here like, yo, Kevin Knox is going to make it. And preseason, he's going to be the one to turn up. So I actually want to see that happen.
I'm telling you,
I want to see that happen.
I would love for it to happen. It's not like I want Knicks players to be bad.
I'm a huge developmental, like, so college ball, I dropped the ball on college ball just because, like, I don't have no time to watch nothing. And I'm a firm believer that when I need to know you, I'm going to know who you are kind of guy. So every time I look at the Knicks draft, I'm always looking at players that we're going to pick, and then I deep dive into their gameplay, like their abilities, their strengths, their weaknesses. And when I watch Kevin Knox, the thing that I loved about Kevin Knox the most was how crafty he was going to the rim. I love that he could use both hands.
Okay.
For his size, he
definitely did
for his size. And I feel like, man, once his jumper starts to come, he starts to shake off all of his anxieties or whatever he's dealing with right now, where he's starting to get buried in a roster, and you start to feel that like actual shot clock of your career. And you know, you're drafted to a place that you love being there. You're a high draft pick. He was picked 9th. The city was like behind him, and then you just don't kind of pan out, and you start to have all these. I'm sure it's a huge psychological game. I think once if he can focus down, he can start knocking down some open jumpers, which is going to open his dribble to the lane. Just at his size, man. I don't know. 6'7", that kind of wingspan, his spot up shooting ability. He started hitting threes from the corner. He had a couple of games where he was shooting the lights out.
Frank, I'm gonna devil's advocate you, and you know
I like Kevin Knox. I really do. I think maybe it's just because I always like the worst player on our team, and I just want him to pull through.
But you didn't like Theo Pinson, who actually knew he was the worst player and like was the best cheerleader.
I'm good. I'm
good. I'm good.
I'm good on cheerleading.
All right, so dude, for Kevin Knox, real quick. I think he's just Trippy. You actually made the point that like if his coach said that he doesn't try hard enough, you need to push him. I don't think as a young dude in New York City, the Big Apple, that is where that person succeeds. Yeah, that dude needs to be in OKC. That dude needs to be in Sacramento.
Right,
he needs to be somewhere where there ain't nearly as much crap to do. He needs to be somewhere that bars close at 1 a.m, not 5 a.m.
He needs to be more isolated.
Okay, exactly. Kevin Knox on his own isn't someone that wants to be pushed to be the best. If you notice, his percentages early on in the year, always earlier in the year, never later in the year. Later in the year, he always gets benched. He always starts out good from 3. He's like, 41%. Kevin Knox turns it up. 2 months later, 34%. And the Knicks are in second place. It seems like Kevin Knox is out of the rotation again. He starts to falter as pressure mounts, which goes to the same mentality that people have. Like, if you are someone that needs to be pushed in order to be great, it usually means you're faltering as your own life pressure mounts, as your family puts pressure on you, as schooling puts pressure on you, work, whatever it is. The more you get pressured, the more you falter. And that's a character trait that some people have. It in basketball relates to 2 things. One, you lose your shot, which we watched Kevin do over and over again in the past 3 years.
Markelle Fultz, right?
Markelle Fultz, I mean, that was a health thing. I actually have Markelle Fultz as like dark horse comeback player of the year this year. This dude's finally back from his ACL.
He looked, yep.
And that dude actually for 7 games last year looks like he knew how to shot and pass like he was supposed to be the number 1 overall pick.
That's crazy you say that. I see him getting traded because they got too many guards over there. They got Jalen Suggs, they got Anthony, RJ Hampton. I don't see Markelle Fultz. One of them got to go. It's either out of Markelle Fultz or Cole Anthony. One of them two is out of there.
I mean, I think Cole Anthony is a worse player than Markelle Fultz, and Cole Anthony is also smaller, so it's like on defense, it's harder to do.
Yikes.
Cole Anthony, way better shot. He's more fun to watch. I think Markelle Fultz for the point guard position is better for a team to succeed around him by setting people up.
Definitely. But to go back on the Kevin Knox thing,
yeah,
I feel like if you really look at the whole season, meaning last year, him and Obi was playing the same type of game. Kevin Knox helped Obi get that corner shot. Obi saw what Kevin Knox wasn't doing. Kevin Knox just remained silent, waiting for that corner shot.
Right.
Obi eventually said, all right, let me move around.
Right.
Yeah.
He was moving
That's
without the
where
ball.
Kevin Knox is messing up at.
Yeah.
He gets so worried about getting that three, you forget he's even on the floor.
Right.
And then you already know his defense is not adding up to it. So you really forget. It's like you playing 4-on-5.
The second people knew Obi can make the corner three, he was like, I get to back cut again. This is nice.
That's a
And
really
Kevin
good,
Knox
that's a
never
really
back
good
cuts.
point. That's a really, really good point. He does look very, very stagnant on the floor when he's out there. He's just trying to become a catch and shooter. But I think that's why I was talking about his skill set, was because I think that he's not working to his strengths. He's just kind of just so lethargic out there, just kind of waiting with his hands up. Every time I think of Kevin Knox on the floor, I think of him in the corner with his hands up, just looking for the ball to just so he can just pull up. It's true. I mean, I think this kid has the tools to be good, or at least be like a bench guy in the NBA, you know, like a rotational bench guy. I just, you know, I just hate.
I think he does too. I just don't think it's on.
I just hate seeing the Knicks take these guys so early, and then they just, like, a part of me is just like somebody saw something, right? And I hate seeing guys taken with the 9th pick, and it's just like, you're just a straight bum. It makes me sick, you know. It makes me sick because you're just
think of it this way: Ntilikina is about to play in France. He's not even in the NBA right now.
Yeah, dude might not.
I thought the Spurs were going to pick him up.
He does seem like a Spur guy, right? Turn around.
Pop, that's the pop guy. But
yeah,
with Kevin though, it's like, honestly, he just it's all right. Let's not even say it's the work ethic, right? We have to really, not only do you have to blame his side, you have to also blame in the time he came and got drafted to this team. So we do play a major part in his development. Same thing with Frank. You get what I'm saying? We didn't have the right coaching staff. We didn't have the right, we didn't even have the right front office that really cared enough to make sure these guys were going to play.
Jackson was terrible for us. Phil was terrible.
Definitely. So with that being said, as you can see going into the season that just passed, like I said, when you think of Obi and Knox, all you really see is just Obi really just took Knox's spot, because why? He had the same type of coming in. He was drafted 8th. Mm-hmm. He was already pronounced the most NBA sounded player ready to go. Mm-hmm. He didn't produce well. He had the number 25th pick out showing him, but he did one thing that I say that Kevin Knox didn't do. You seen how he progressed and got better. Kevin Knox does it the opposite way. He starts out hot and then degresses. Yeah. Like, no, like you go in the opposite way, bro. Right. So unfortunately, it's like, if you don't turn up in training camp, because we all know if you don't turn up in training camp, you're not making it to preseason. Right. So he gotta. I don't know what he's gonna do. I don't know if his defense got better, because the way I see it, the only way Kevin Knox staying on his team, he gonna have to lock somebody up.
You gotta play some defense.
Yeah. And just start back cutting again. Stop waiting in the corner. Definitely,
because if not, you got to look at it like this. We can go ahead, even if you keep RJ and Burks as your threes. You forgot Grimes know how to play defense. He locked Kev up. Kev, you out the door. That's what's taking your spot.
You can't play small ball 4 if Randle or small ball 4 if and Obi's better at it.
Yo, if I'm Quentin Grimes too, I'm telling Coach, put me on. I'm telling everybody on the floor, put me on this guy Kevin Knox. It's true.
Nah, dude, put me on him. For what's worth, I bet you Grimes and McBride, because they both are coming from the same college. I bet you they're both like, put me on fucking Randle. I'll show you guys what's good.
Yeah.
Can't you see McBride pulling like Avery Bradley, like Rajon Rondo early career type shit? Like, put me on the biggest dude. I'll rob him. I'll steal the ball.
I just like the fact that Deuce really just guards. He took the challenge from Gary Payton, and he really is guarding people from 94 feet out.
Guarding like Cade Cunningham, the number 1 pick, 94 feet.
All game. But the best part is that we all keep forgetting, you gotta love when you can get a player that their first sport happened to be football. You gotta love those type of players. Prime example, Allen Iverson, LeBron James. Mm-hmm. You get a player that played football before and then he plays basketball, they're like, they become like
their
one of the top guys moving.
Different, right? Their mentality.
To work off that same point, dudes that play football and then become great basketball players, they have amazing defense, tenacity, and drive, and they can go to the hole at will with only one move. It's like a running back, one cut, go. That's all you got to do. Your job is to get to the basket. It doesn't matter how fancy you are. And then soccer players on the exact opposite aspect, they're so fancy with their handles and ball. It's like they pass dudes open, like Steve Nash's of the world, Luka Doncic's. It's like by being so fancy and technical, they make it's like, how did that dude get open? Man, I saw him 4 moves ago. I was playing chess while you're playing checkers. It's amazing how both football and soccer translates to basketball so well in different ways.
Definitely. In different ways. Yeah, that is actually a really cool take on that.
That's a big fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's going to be scary hours, man. It's going to be scary hours. We just got to hope that Knox actually produces the way he needs to produce. Like I always say.
Fuck him. Fuck him.
Hey, I heard it first.
Trippy, we gotta go, man.
Trippy, you sold me, man. Fuck him.
He's walking.
Yo, Knox,
I'm done
Burks,
being nice to these bums.
I guarantee you, Knox, Burks, and/or Noel, at least one of the 3 of them are not on this team by the trade deadline.
I feel like it's going to end up being, like I said, it's going to be, I'm going with you on the Noel and the Burks thing. Only thing why I say Noel, he's like a toss-up with me, just for the fact of everybody keeps forgetting we got Jericho Sims, and the way he playing, it's either if Mitch or Noel mess up, he's in there. He's taking one of their spots.
For sure.
But personally, I feel like if Noel plays the way he needs to play, Mitch gets injured, you see what's going to happen. If they don't trade for nobody for Mitch, Sims is getting that Mitch you out the door.
I think
Mitch is playing a really ballsy game by like still debating the contract extension thing, because it's like, yeah, I know we all think you're worth more money based on your play, but like you got to play
your health. I think Noel's the least likely to get traded.
Of those 3 or just in general?
Just in general in the Knicks. I think he is the legitimate safety blanket of our team. He came in last year not anticipating playing these minutes. And with Mitch going down, this dude rose to the occasion. He was the anchor of our defense. And I think that Mitch's health is so up in the air that there's no guaranteeing that Mitch is going to stay healthy. I just don't think that's something, especially with a foot with a big guy. I think probably Alec Burke is probably going to be the guy to go. I think he's going to be the most the first traded piece of us if we were to, do that. I think Noel's going to stay put. Guy's too good defensively. You can't. It's just too risky of a game to, God forbid you move this guy. Match. Right, like God forbid you trade him and then Mitch goes down in the playoffs. Right. So then what are you going to do? You're going to play
Sims and Gibson aren't
right. You're going to play Taj Gibson like you did. The dude was like so I remember him being so gassed in the playoffs. He was playing so many minutes. This dude was looking like a ghost. He was gassed. I remember looking at him like, man, that man is tired. So, and I mean, he's just older. I mean, Sims is really good. I like his athleticism. I told you he was my guy. I was really excited to see in the summer league stuff, just because I know that extreme athleticism can translate, and if it can translate, it could be prolific just due to
especially when you're that big. If you're 6'11",
yeah, man, I was really excited for Sims, but I don't think Sims is. I just think that's too shallow of a position to trade Noel when you have like the meat and potatoes of your defense.
That's understandable.
You know what I mean? I think our guards are we're heavily guard centric right now. You trade listen, I think McBride needs to play. I think this kid he's a bull. Quinn Grimes, knockdown shooter. Eventually he's going to start to squeak into the lineup too, which then means one of these guards got to go, and it's probably going to be, like you said, a journeyman. Any team's going to want him come playoff run. He can just mesh right in. He's a walking bucket. I think that's my take on who will get traded.
On the Grimes thing, man, I know it's super early. I know that football related. As the Jet fan, but I keep hearing the Zach Wilson, Aaron Rodgers thing. I know it's super early in Quinn Grimes' career, but I said in the last pod, Frank, little Allen Houston with that shot, just like a little bit, like not a lot, not yet, but like similarities.
Right.
If you really look at his jump shot though, with Grimes, he did train with Penny Hardaway. If you look at Penny Hardaway's shot, they got the same shooting mechanics, the same form, but the release
the hands
is that Allen Houston release. Like he don't sit there and hold it. It's going. It's going.
It's far away from his head. It's farther away from his head. It's just like it's hard to block. It's just so fast.
It's like he comes straight up with it like that. And I'm like, all right, okay. I like that. But the way that he can hit it at a high clip, even though he was going against, third stringers, G League players, however you want to call it, at the end of the day, all those guys on that court, all were college players at a point. He can light it up.
They all were getting paid to be there.
Yep, he can light it up.
I'm excited for the Garden's going to be buzzing, man. I'm really, really excited. I just hear Mike Breen just yelling bang in the back of my head. It's just like, I'm just so ready for this team, man. Nothing better there's nothing in the world better than basketball. In my opinion.
Before we let you go, I want to get how do you truly feel about RJ Barrett and Julius Randle? Because we can't go the whole pod without not talking about two best players.
I feel like, truthfully speaking, and this is just my take, I feel like they are the Batman and Robin of this team. You have no Julius, no RJ, we don't get these pieces we got at all. But on top of that, the main focal point with it, you got, Randle as your Batman. With him being Batman, this is where we see RJ go from being Robin to turning into Nightwing now.
Nightwing, word up.
He's turning into Nightwing now.
I like that.
Because he's about to become deadly. And everybody knows, if you watch the DC series and you looked at Robin, when he became Nightwing or Red Hood, it was a problem.
Yeah.
So he's going to turn up. Like I said, they the Batman and Robin of this team. They're going to elevate. They're going to do what they got to do. And the fact that the NBA is still disrespecting them and they use that as fuel to better their game, scary hours yet again. Y'all done messed up again. They shouldn't have did that.
I do think the reason NBA
storm.
and NBA Twitter really disrespects the Knicks is because there's so many fans. We have the most valued franchise. There's the most people in New York out of any other city in America. We have the most fans. I'm sorry we outnumber all of you combined.
Just saying, folks. You should have been a Knicks fan.
And we ride or die, too. We ride or die with this team.
That we do.
Definitely.
I was in the last thing about hot take, anti-Knick hot take, super duper fast. I told Frank this right before we got on, Trippy. If you were to find out that like 3 or 4 of the Knicks were on an anabolic steroid regime before the season right now, and 1 or 2 of them got suspended, on a scale of 1 to 10, how surprised would you be?
I wouldn't be surprised. You see how big they are? Like, you see RJ in a workout. RJ looking like a power forward now.
Yo, IQ's biceps grew 3 inches.
Randall's over here like this. Like, come on, man. When you get like this, like, he has no body fat. It's just straight muscle. Then you got, oh my goodness. Like, we just gonna stop right there. Those 2 alone would probably, come here, you two, come here. That's exactly what they do. Come here. You got to take a drug test.
Hey, wait.
As soon as they drop 40 or 50 in a game, they getting drug tested.
They're gonna be like, we need to test you. Like, we already got the COVID test this week. We're vaccinated. No. We need to drug test you for other shit. Oh fuck. You guys still do that? I was so worried about COVID. I forgot I couldn't do that.
I seem like, can I just pay the fine and get the suspension? Because I don't think I want to do that.
I don't think I want to go through that. Honestly, I'm gonna get caught.
But yeah, I honestly see that. I see them 2 really taking off. I see them really being the focal point and leaders of this team. Like, a lot of people felt like, with the veteran presence that we have, with Kemba, with Rose being there, with Taj coming back. Yes, they're there. And like even Evan Fournier, but I don't feel like they're there to be the leaders of the team. I feel like they're there to be the player coaches for our team. Because if you factor them out, it's nothing but young guys on this team.
Right.
So
Taj Gibson's old bald ass.
Yeah, he shouldn't even be playing. He should just be coaching them. Don't play at all.
Yep.
He should be coaching. With Kemba and his knees, you really shouldn't be doing that much. You should just be worried about making your team better. The same way how D Rose does it. That's why he don't mind coming off the bench, because he knows his job is to do what, which we've seen last year, get these guys better. So, and out of everybody, Rose got the hardest job because his whole lineup is basically one vet, and then you got Noel. You already know Noel's not going to give you that many points. So you got to make sure these young guys get right.
Right.
So with that, with Evan is more so like he's the guy that put the battery in your back, because out of everybody, he has the 4-year contract. But I have a crazy hot take that, and I'm saying this on some please don't happen, he might just be one of those people that could possibly have a bad year.
Who, Evan Fournier?
Yeah, I got him and Burks being like one of the first 2 that if we have to do a trade, if they messing up, they might be the ones out of here.
Dude,
because those
like
are 2 people that
Fournier.
A team would take without a doubt. But if you take those 2 out, that automatically helps you plug in McBride and Grimes.
Yeah.
Without having to chop down the roster, without having to trade off hella picks. So it's going to be a dog fight. So whoever's ready to really be here and show their worth, you better show it because you will be out the door.
I got a question for all of you guys, right? So with our plethora of point guards, and now it seems like our plethora of shooting guards, right? We got Emmanuel Quickly, who kind of sits in the gray area as, okay, he's being taught as a point guard, but he plays like a shooting guard. Where does Emmanuel Quickly fit in this rotation now with Derrick Rose, Kemba, Alec Burks, and the new guys?
I mean,
he literally is. He's got the same thing. He literally is plugged in as the Lou Williams, Jamal Crawford off the bench, Jordan Clarkson type now on this team.
Definitely, and the way that he produced last year, the fact that he was an instant spark plug, especially at those games when we had the stretches of games where Alex Burks couldn't play because he was out. He was your spark plug. You knew when you put Emmanuel Quickly in that game and he hit one bucket or even hit a free throw, it was no stopping him. He was about to get you the next 10, 11 points real quick. Yep. So with that being said, IQ, he has a gray area only because, you got McBride there. So everybody would feel McBride would beat him out for a spot. But the fact that you can't really call how McBride would play on an NBA stage just yet, that still is what's saving IQ from being there. I mean, saving IQ being there. And then on top of that, you don't want to break up that D Rose and IQ tandem that they have. That coalition together is way better than the Quivers thing we had with the Austin Rivers guy.
That's what I was going to ask you. Do you think Emmanuel Quickly is going to see more shooting guard minutes this year, aside on the side of
that gray area you speak of is called being a combo guard, and I think that they're now teaching Quickly to run an offense, which I always thought they should do because his ability to shoot opens the floor up, but he's also has potentially an elite floater in his game, which has already showed that it is relatively elite. I think it only just opens up the opportunity to change the lineups and go with the hot hand, because if you have a guy that's, say D Rose, does get hurt, and then you throw McBride in there to play the one, now you have Quickly playing the two. Or if D Rose needs a night off, you can throw Quickly at the one and you could play Burks at the two, and then you could play Grimes at the three. Or it's just his ability to do whatever you ask of him. It's a really, really beneficial thing for this team.
So essentially you're saying Tibbs is going to be forced to do a more than 10-man rotation.
I think Emmanuel
our guards alone go 8 deep.
I think Emmanuel Quickly can potentially be our most important piece at the guard position, at the 1 and 2 guard, just because of how he's able to do so much for you. D Rose is gonna drive to the rim and get finishes. He's shot a lot better at the 3-point line. He plays more of a traditional point guard, I guess. But Burks is gonna give you, what do you need? He's just gonna, what do you need that game? His game is so malleable, and he's still so young to where he's absorbing this information. And now they have a bunch of guards that do so many different things so well that he can just pick pieces from all these other guys. Like we were saying to the podcast a couple of podcasts ago, the Knicks did a great job with the culture, because not only are they showing that, we want to bring guys back that play well. Your play is rewarded. But we're also drafting people who have similar skill sets to the vets that we're drafting, so you can be more hands-on with this team. You're not just a player. You're somebody that we value what you do as a person and as a player, and we want you to bestow your wisdom as a veteran onto these rookies that are so similar to what like to your journey, and that is a culture that the Knicks have been dying to accumulate for so long. And I think Emmanuel Quickly embodies. And also, I guess you could say Obi Toppin too, because like Obi Toppin, a lot of posting up as in his college career, and now they're asking him to play off ball, shoot some 3 points, and maybe we'll see a little bit more mid-range game with him. And so the more you can do for a team, obviously, the more beneficial it is to your career and the longevity to your career with that specific team. So, I mean, the Knicks are just doing a really good job of allowing these guys to be them. I wish they did that more with Mitchell Robinson, health warranted, because we all know he can shoot. And I want to see the playbook opened up a little bit more for him this season, if that's end all possible. But yeah, I think Emmanuel Quickly is that guy. He's like how Julius makes our first team go. I think Emmanuel Quickly is the person that makes our second team go.
Definitely. Definitely.
And also
I
the
can
point
agree
that you
with
were saying about like guys getting brought in, like rookies being brought in and veterans trying to teach them because they're similar skill sets. Also, iron sharpens iron. They're all competitors. That rookie
Right.
wants to be out there. That vet wants to be out there and keep that guy like behind him still. So it's like the Knicks going 12 to 15 deep now. Like if you're a team that goes 7 or 8 deep, you're usually top heavy like the Nets or the Lakers, and maybe you're competing currently. But
Right.
if you're a team that's like up and coming, you want to go legit 12 or 13 deep. Like your 13th man could get bench minutes for the 9th man rotation in the Lakers right now. You know
Right.
what I mean?
And
Like
those are the
Alec
teams
Burks is
that
on our bench, but Alec Burks might be starting for LA, who's competing for a title.
right.
That's how you motivate dudes on your team.
Definitely. Honestly, that's really it. Like everybody hit it on the nose. Like IQ needs to be here. He's like the, I want to say the heart, not even the heart. No, Derrick Rose is the heart. He's like the soul of the second unit. Without Quickly, there's a lot that this team probably could not have done last year. So it's definitely going to be crazy to see him go at it again. But I got another hot take for y'all real quick.
Mm-hmm.
How do y'all feel maybe in our organization's mind, they're really keeping Kemba and Rose here all the way until Zion frees up? So that way IQ and then McBride can plug in their spots, and then we go get Zion. Because I feel like that is the main factor. We don't need to go trade for no Bradley Beal. We don't need no Dame because, number one, we don't need no Bradley Beal because RJ is going to take that step. We don't need him.
I think in the way the NBA is set up now, dudes want to sign the Supermax with their team because you make the most money, and then they just force their way out anyway. So if we get Zion, we are trading that assets for him. We're not signing him in free agency because for him to do that, it's like at that point, it'll be like 4 years for 200 mil versus 5 years for like 260. Like he's going to sign the 5 for 260 and be like,
I don't know.
I don't want to play in New Orleans.
He's still so young, man. I think if you can get him, because like you have to, the pitch is if he's a free agent, because he wants to get out of there already.
He's going to sign their Supermax there. It happens. It's going to happen.
Guys,
do now.
Here's something you're not talking about. What makes you think that people aren't going to go to Zion?
No one wants to play in New Orleans. It's just not.
Yeah, nobody wants to play.
No, he wants to get out of there. I think if you sit Zion down and you say, hey, listen, I know that you can go get more money with New Orleans and the max deal with them. But if with signing, I know you want to get out of here. We got your buddy RJ Barrett here, who you guys were great together. We have this big stage, New York. We're already set up to, because like to me, you get Zion Williamson with Julius Randle, RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, and these guys are a couple years more developed.
Trade, I'm telling you.
But this is my point. If you sign him, if you say, listen, you sign with us, we're already going to be a finals contender with you on this team. And then after your or you could say, listen, we'll give you 2 years, 3 years at this maximum price. And then we give you our word. All goes well, you will get a max contract. You get a max contract with the Knicks because by doing that, you're allowing us to maintain these assets that are going to put you in a position to win a title in New York City.
And to win even multiple titles.
Right. I think Zion, like that, now you're talking to me. Now that's GM mode. Because that's where I said, you tell me Zion can come here, put me in a room with Zion Williamson, I'll get him to sign New York and not take that max deal in New Orleans. But let me sit and talk with him for a little bit, get in his head. Assumptively talk to this guy a little bit.
You guys are really underestimating what 5 years of max security money and $50 million more does to somebody.
It all just depends on the kind of guy.
The mindset of what you're saying right now is why us as Knicks fans have always like been, oh, we'll get the next guy. We'll get the next guy. We'll get the next guy. That mindset's what made us never get anyone.
But that's the beautiful part about the contracts we made.
Because they're tradable, because they're not going to be signed as a free agent because they're tradable.
Yeah. So now it's either when you think about the Zion aspect, it's either you can wait, or if he say he ready to go, all right, send him off. No, obviously, let me see. Zion's a power forward, so I want to say in that package you'll probably toss them. You'd be like, you know what? Y'all take Nerlens Noel. Y'all go ahead and take Obi Toppin because they're gonna probably ship him out. You know what I'm saying? Like the only person I could think in that Zion trade that would actually really be the focal point is probably Obi Toppin.
I think Julius Randle needs to go.
Standpoint, it's like if we're trading
really trade Julius for Zion,
I agree. I think they're asking for Julius.
You'd have to trade Julius Randle. You have to trade Emmanuel Quickly. The only one he's going to ask to stay is RJ Barrett,
RJ
which means
Barrett.
every other person's on the table,
Right.
including our best, unfortunately.
Right. And that's why I say, and that's why I say you take the waiting and just throw the bread at him, throw the bread and the idea of playing in New York and winning a championship in New York, and kind of just give him the bigger picture pitch, right? Because like you can go get that money right now and it's going to be all good. You're going to be in New Orleans, but just realize anywhere you go, you're going to be eating up all the assets. Yeah, but you're going to just be eating up assets. Like you're going to be a liability to the team you're going to now because it's going to take so much in order to land you.
So you feel like he's going to be in a Carmelo Anthony.
He's going to be like
situation.
Carmelo Anthony situation.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah,
definitely. So
guys, here's the other thing. We extended Julius already, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was going to say a move that they should have considered is waiting mid-year on Julius to see if he is this guy he was last year.
No, because dude, if they waited till mid-year to the end of next year, he could have made $100 million more. He did us a favor by signing now.
Right.
And then on top of that, he helped us out even more by leaving 60 to 80 million on the table from that deal.
He chose to not sign the Supermax.
I just hate to see this guy Julius turn into like an Isaiah Thomas, where we're attached to this guy.
Dude,
who
Isaiah
didn't
Thomas
perform
was
like that again.
5'10" with bad knees and couldn't play defense. Julius Randle is.
You get what I'm saying, though. We throw this money at you, and
I
then
don't
you're
think
not
you need
this
to. I don't
promised
think
guy.
you need to worry about that.
Yeah, no. Julius Randle's work ethic is better than all four of ours combined. I'm pretty sure.
I don't think that's something you're going to need to worry about. I think Julius Randle's contract is well deserved. I think that he was always potentially could be this guy. I think that the confidence that bestowed upon him, letting him run the offense, pushed his game to another level. His shooting percentages skyrocketed to an unprecedented level that we did not even see coming. This wasn't even a part of his game that we thought we were going to see, was him shooting this three ball. His facilitating ability has gone up tenfold. He became one of the best passing big men in the league. He was probably like top 10. I'm just going to spit it off. I would assume he was top 10 in assists as far as his position goes.
I'm going to hit you with a little devil's advocate though, man. So my devil's advocate is that's all fine and dandy. You got most improved player. In the playoffs, if we go again, you're going to be our number one man again with this current lineup. Is that going to happen again?
I mean, you have to look at you. So he became something we never thought he would be. We're going to say that, right? Mm-hmm. So then now what's going to happen is the Hawks exposed him. And the best thing for somebody who is a resilient, intelligent player is to be exposed, because you can take it either Julius is a bum because the Hawks exposed him, or Julius is now going to be a better player because he was exposed. And I think that I'm going to go with Julius becomes a better player because now there's a formula. The book's out on him, and, great players. So good players get to a certain level. Great players take criticism, take defeat, and they turn it into success. So now we're in a position where Julius Randle can not only take the next level skill set wise, but take the next level mentally as well. And that's huge.
That's another fact. And then on top of that too, you got to think about it. Within the playoff run that he had, he doesn't have to worry about the same things he had to worry about last year. This time when he ain't got it going, he could become that point forward that he is. So now he has weapons with him. So with that being said, the only reason why people would probably feel he won't have the same type of season, only because his points per game is going to go down. And that's a good thing because you have the weapons around you to do that. So with his points going down, I feel like his assist rate is about to go up.
Yeah, or his points stay the same. It actually means he's just shooting at a better percent clip because he's getting more open shots with better floor spacing.
Definitely.
Who do you guys think is the best addition this year that is going to complement Julius?
Hold on. I just wanted to get this off on Julius as well. I think we became so inside out with Julius, passing to the post, having to make decisions. I think another thing that's going to be a coaching adjustment would be to also have different type of offenses that you run with Julius, because he was so easily defended.
Tip's biggest downfalls.
Right. I think like you look at it, what was basically happening was when Julius was in the post, if he was going to roll baseline, you had the big to cover the baseline for the double team to close off baseline. And then when he was rolling to the elbow or towards the free throw line, you would have guards collapse on him, which was causing him to make that decision. And we weren't either. He was rushing it. He was sloppy. We all said he looked lethargic. He looked tired in the playoffs. But I think that if you start implementing different type of offenses, so for a little bit of the game, throw the post, see if the post game's working. And then if not, see if you can run some high pick and rolls with the guy or pick and pops. And so, and try to like mix. You can't just keep beating a dead horse. And I think like with Atlanta, we were just basically like, this was our offense all season. This is going to be our offense for the remainder of these playoffs. Either it's going to work or it's not. We're going to plug Rose. Right. And what happened? We were running the same offenses. We had to rely on Derrick Rose. Thank God we didn't run him into the ground this past postseason because he was playing crazy. Right. So I think that from a coaching standpoint, you got to start like being like, okay, this offense we know works. But then when we start to see these kind of defenses, maybe we can shift to this kind of offense and kind of start playing the game of chess out on the floor, like counter moves, counter offenses. And I think that's another thing that we gained from the season. We saw, wow, this offense really works. But with these kind of defenses, and if Julius just doesn't have it going from his turnaround jumper standpoint, then maybe we need to start focusing on other parts of our offense. And
I think that segues perfect to the next question, like the most complementary piece of the offense that will help Julius Randle, where if he is getting exposed in games, who is going to be the guy that picks up that slack that'll be most beneficial?
Why last year I begged and pleaded for Quickley to play with Randle more. They just need the largest floor spacer on their team.
Right.
That's it. Quickley has the longest range. Quickley pairs with Randle the most because it's going to be inside.
Is that your take? Is your take so who's going to benefit Julius Randle and the team the most this year?
Randle would benefit Quickley the most. I still don't.
I'm asking, who do you think this year going into next year is going to benefit Julius Randle and the team?
It's going to be
Kemba Walker.
I'm going to say Fournier over Walker because I think Fournier is going to play more. It's going to be Walker during the time he's out there. It's going to be Fournier for the duration of the season. So I'm expecting Walker or Rose in this time.
I love that take. See, I have it the same way, but instead of Evan, that's where the Robin Knight win comes in.
Yeah.
That's where RJ comes into play. Because with the spacing he has now, we should be seeing the Duke RJ that we know. We should be seeing in the same way how he was able to get Zion in his bag, Cam Reddish, because a lot of people forget that he was the man over there. Right. Zion got hurt. He was still holding it down, dropping 20-something points a game. So he's going to get to that bag. Everybody got to remember, when he first came to the league, we had him doing stuff that he wasn't supposed to.
Right.
So this year coming, he actually got to go back to doing what he's used to doing, but now he was just fixing up his shot. This year, we should see the overall whole package.
I'm really excited for RJ this season. A lot.
I think Barrett's a better overall player than Evan Fournier is. And if he's like not yet, it's literally going to happen this year, 100% guaranteed in every single person's eyes. Fournier is a better passer and distributor still than RJ is currently, though.
I agree.
That's why I think it's going to help Randle more this year.
What about you, Frank? You think Fournier?
I think like immediate success with our signings, I would say probably Fournier as well. Yeah. Just because of he's the guy's good. Like it's not even like, I'm not just saying that to be like, oh, well, I really like this guy who's on our team. Like Evan Fournier has been really good for a very, very long time.
You always killed us.
Yeah, I mean,
always, every time. He's the type of dude that like is like Kevin Knox, and he might not try his ass off in New York, or he's like, I love this.
How many points do you think? How many points do you think Evan Fournier is going to average this season?
He got to average the same amount he averaged last year.
And what was
bare minimum?
Then 20 to 22, almost his whole.
Right. I'm going to say the guy can average 20 points a game. I wouldn't be surprised if he averaged 20 points a game. I think RJ is going to average 20 points a game this season.
Well, we're at 65 right there. If Randle gets 24, Evan gets 21, and Evan gets 20, that's 65 right there.
I think these guys, but that's what I'm alluding to, that is that now we have guys who can all potentially average 20 points. Like,
don't forget about Derrick Rose. He's getting in the high teens.
Yeah, but you don't want to run that well dry. You want to keep his minutes manageable. And I
want
think
Rose and Kemba to combine for 30 points.
Right.
That's what I want to see. Yeah. I want to see them split it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think what we were talking about earlier with Grimes and McBride, I think it's really important for them to get minutes, even if it's just like 8 minutes here and there for both of them. I think it's really important to just work them into the lineup and get some sort of synergy. Yeah. Because later in the season, if everything goes to plan and we are still in a playoff position, you're going to want to start to scale back Kemba and Rose's minutes as the season progresses, so that when playoff time comes, we can push them back up. Yeah. So I think and that's what we always say about Tibbs. He's very stubborn with his rotations. and his adjustments, I hope that this is also a learning experience for him, because Tibbs is a regular season coach. That's what we always hear about him, and he finally has an opportunity to take his game to the next level.
This team goes so deep, he almost doesn't have a choice but to play 12 games.
Right. He's. I mean, everyone's like, oh, Tibbs does a 10-man rotation. It's either 9 or 10 always. I think he has an opportunity to transform, and I think a lot of it comes with accountability as well. The culture.
I feel like on top of that too, just to piggyback off what you said, when it comes to Tom, like you said, he has to elevate his game as well.
Yeah.
We actually got to see that going into last year, because we didn't expect him to play half the players he was playing. We didn't expect him to move the way he was playing too with some of these players. But the key thing of why I feel like he has to at least go to 12 to this rotation, all of the media outlets and sources stated that you specifically wanted these two guys. Yeah. There's no way you tell me you want these two guys, but you're not going to play them.
Right.
Exactly.
That's the only part I can say, okay, he's definitely going to go at least 12 deep. The only other aspect of it, he may not play Sims like that unless a center gets hurt.
Sims isn't going to play
more than 2 minutes a game. Honestly.
I don't think Sims is going to play at all. I think he's going to be down the pipeline.
You got to remember, Taj is older now, man. He might end up seeing injury minutes.
But dude, Mitch and Noel are going to ideally play 46 of the 48 minutes.
Definitely.
Right.
I only really see Sims pulling up if somebody gets hurt.
You really think they're going to push Mitch?
Say again?
You think they're pushing Mitch off of this injury where he's going to be getting half the minutes of a game?
Dude, he's been out for like 7 months now.
But still.
Mitch and Noel combined playing 46 minutes. I'm saying Mitch gets like 28 and Noel gets like 24.
I'm saying Mitch has been injured almost every year. I think we do see a little Jericho Sims out there.
I mean, Mitch Robinson hasn't been re-signed yet. Prove yourself and
Jericho
get this
Sims
money.
to average 2 to 3 minutes a game. He can get 40 DMPs.
You want this, Mitch? You want this money? Mitch, you want this money? Go play minutes.
You have to play 70 games this year.
And if not, then guess what?
I also expect to see only one foul in the first half of the game. And if you can't bring that down, we have to have another conversation too. Because if you guys don't remember,
he's fixed his foul rate a lot.
His foul production.
He was only averaging 4 fouls per 36 last year.
That came in 2 years of playing, and now he's 7 months off.
But it also comes with the flow of the game. You got to expect him to be a little bit slow in rotations. You got to expect him to just be a little bit cold, knock the cobwebs off.
Dude,
but as the season progresses,
by the time the season starts, between training camp and the regular season, and this dude's gonna have 8 months off at that point, and he gained 30 pounds of muscle. If this foot's fine, I think he's gonna be good.
I mean, Mitch is going to be, if he's healthy, he's going to be really good. I still think, I always say this, he looks like a baby deer on like pick and rolls. He just is always surprised to get the ball other than it being a lob. Yeah. I don't know why. I don't understand why. But if he can start to like wake up a little bit on the
Elfrid Payton was passing him the balls.
Yeah, probably.
I just like the fact of the matter of Mitch stated that, he's been with the fans coming at him, talking about, you don't need to worry about your jump shot. You need to worry about post moves. The fact that he responded and said, I've already been doing that. So that's what I'm looking to see. I want to see what this post game look like.
I mean, this dude just needs to get a hook shot. You get a hook shot, man. I'm good. That's all you need. Lower that shoulder, bump a dude, get some weight, bump a dude, throw a hook. You're tall and long.
That is one of the most shots that I swear, like the NBA is trying to get rid of. You don't even see a hook shot no more.
I don't get it, man.
Robin Lopez.
Effective. It's so effective, and
Robin Lopez does like a moon hook shot.
Being able to shoot over both shoulders with a hook shot as a big is such an underrated move for these guys, and you can't defend it. I just don't understand. You have a move that's literally been designed to be able to not be defended, and you never see it.
Dude, and then tell me how Obi shoots if he's ever going to get a mid-range. Tell me his shot doesn't make it look like it should go off the backboard. Obi should be going for bank shots with his shot style.
I mean, from the recent videos we've seen of Obi, he's working on that mid-range. He's working on the spinning around post, you know what I'm saying? Get the bump with the contact.
Yeah.
So and then on top of that, even if let's not even talk about the training videos. If you look at Summer League itself, the fact that he was so, as soon as he got the ball, he was letting it fly. I was like, okay. That's different.
Yeah.
Obi wasn't doing that last year.
You can tell they told him to go out there and be like, you're averaging 28 points a game if you're going to prove how good you are.
Well, really, it comes down to his decision making. He's not hesitating. He's not questioning what he's doing. And I think that also comes with more playing. You know, you start to read defenders' bodies, you get smarter in how you catch a ball a certain way to make the defender move a certain way so you can go another way. It just comes with seasoning, you know, and the smarter players get it faster. And he's a little bit older, and you know, hopefully this is the beginning of I just love the whole mentality of basketball. I remember when I was like I was in my mid-20s, I started studying Akeem Olajuwon. And I started to understand the thought process of setting somebody up for failure with, you know, certain moves and certain body changes. And when you start seeing guys do that on the floor and also just not hesitate with those thought processes as well, you start to see something special. And I think that's what you saw with Obi. You start to see.
That's why my up and under worked for 30 years.
Yeah, I know, because you were just setting it. I mean, it's
what his body was going to do.
If you don't, if it's kind of like a if you know thing, because like to people who are casual basketball fans, what I just said sounds like gibberish. But somebody who actually understands, like, it is not only a physical skill that you need to have playing basketball, it's also a very mental game.
Yes.
Mental.
And a lot of people don't, and it took me into my mid-20s to understand that it's more than just being big and being able to shoot and being strong. It's like literally, you know, you do a couple of turnaround jumpers right away in the post, and then the next time you do a turnaround pump fake up and under, and now you got this guy jumping past you because he already set up for your turnaround jumper. You making people accustomed to you going left and then, you know, jab stepping left and then going right. It's just so many little nuances to the game of basketball that makes it such a beautiful game to play and to watch and to study on top of all that too. Like, you can actually study players, and then you can look at their things that they do well and then put it into your skill set. Like, so when you go play, you know, it's just,
they had Shaquille O'Neal doing ballet, man. So
yeah, that was a foot, but that's
part of the art. It's like an art.
It's the footwork. It's the footwork part.
You can almost look at it like an MMA technique, man. Like, this guy went and learned a different sport to bring into the game of basketball.
Yeah, everything is applicable if you know how to do it properly. I read The Art of War. I never thought that The Art of War would be applicable to regular life, but it is, you know?
Nah, it definitely is, though. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Trippy, to end the pod, I was going to say, it's been an hour and a half. Before you get your last thought off, and then we're going to ask you to do plugs and stuff.
No, it was just really on the Obi thing. It was just really like, when it came down to him, it wasn't even a fact of, can he do it? What can he do? It was just him having the confidence in himself to just do it. Yep. Because as you can see, when he got later on into the season, going into the postseason, he got his confidence back. And it really unlocked when he heard the Garden screaming his name. Once he heard that, Obi was here. We saw the number 8 pick pop up. Yeah. So now you just seeing it translate, because now he know the fans is here. He know what he got to do. And now the only thing that was stopping him was himself. And that was just his confidence builder. That's just that. The fact that he got his confidence back, that's another thing of why, you know, Kevin Knox didn't work, why Frank Ntilikina didn't work.
Right, no confidence
wasn't there. Because again, when you playing in New York, you gotta have this confidence. And besides, he's from Brooklyn, so he knows what's up.
You need the swagger. Yeah, it's true. You need that kind of swagger in order to be successful in New York. That's why it's the hardest place to play.
Yeah,
definitely.
Frank, it's literally what you just said. I mean, you just figured out from The Art of War and studying Akeem Olajuwon only 4 years ago. Like, this is such a mental game. And I mean, I know we all want Kevin Knox to do well. I want to end the podcast with this. None of us want Kevin Knox to fail. None of us wanted Frank Ntilikina to fail.
Right.
No one wanted Elfrid Payton to fail, Dennis Smith Jr., Emmanuel Mudiay. No one wants dudes to not do well on this team.
Right.
Anthony Early, who even went to Newburgh for a little while,
I forgot about that, man. Didn't he shoot himself?
I don't know. I don't think so.
He cheddar bobbed himself.
We have a video on YouTube, Big Knick Energy, the truth behind the Clay Anthony Early case. Quick little plug if you guys want to see, head over there.
Yeah,
definitely.
Speaking of which, Trippy, what do you want to plug?
Just let y'all know, man. Make sure y'all follow at Knick and 30. That's at KNICKN_30. Make sure y'all do that. Make sure y'all head over to the YouTube. Follow that. I will be dropping a blog later on today. What's the topic? You got to wait and see till I drop it. Y'all know how that go. Make sure y'all do justice and follow Big Knick Energy. Make sure y'all follow, subscribe, get in tune with them because they here. And make sure y'all cop they merch plus my merch. We all lit.
Get all the merch.
In tune. Get it in tune. And if you ain't rocking with the Knicks, I feel bad for you, right? I feel bad for you.
I feel bad for them too. Again, there's more of us than all the other teams combined. 8 million people in New York alone.
They better get with it.
Yeah, they better watch out because she's hands discounted if not.
Oh yeah, last thing, Vegas. Don't worry, we're gonna beat those odds again. You about to make us all rich again. Thank you.
Vegas setting our original over/under at 500. I'm like, we were just 10 games over last year with the worst team. I don't get it, but whatever. With that, we've had another edition of the Big Knick Energy Podcast. Once again, check out our sponsor, Empire Original Designs at jointheempire.com. East Coast #1 challenge coin manufacturer, the home of challenge coins, lapels, pins, patches, keychains, followers, and more. Mention our podcast, Big Knick Energy, via email for song purchases. Once again, that's jointheempire.com. I'm Joe Yoke. That's Trey Deuce. That's Trippy Dope. And we're out here. Let's go, Knicks.
Let's go, Knicks.